Reopen it.
Oh.
Good?
Yeah, thank you. We thought it was going to rain last night, but it didn't rain yet. In fact, you can still see a lot of blue sky. But forecast now switched to raining this afternoon at 2, which our plan is to be out of here. We are headed north. Probably go check out Shallow Cove first, which is the northern end of Gros National Park. There's a campground there, and if there's cell service and it's nice, we may spend the night. If not, we might just keep going north. We want to go see Lonso Meadows, which is at the northern tip of Newfoundland. It's a 1,000-year-old Viking village, and it's supposed to have a lot of cool history behind it. So I don't know if we'll get to that today. Today's Wednesday. Our plan right now is to kind of see the rest of Newfoundland the next 3 days, and then Saturday hit the early ferry across to, it's technically Quebec. It's Blanc-Sablon, Quebec, but it's just on the border line between Labrador, and that's where you take the ferry to. And from there, you can drive all the way around Labrador and end up back in Quebec again. That gives us Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the next 3 days to do something. Saturday morning, I'm taking the entire next week off for work because the Trans-Labrador Highway is basically, no services at all. There's a stretch about 250 miles where there's not even gas. So we got a plan for that. We got to figure out things to do, places to stay, stores that we need to go to stock up on food, but it shouldn't be bad. You know, it's a gravel road for a few hundred miles, but it shouldn't be bad. It's I'd imagine, I don't know for sure, I'd imagine it's mostly like a supply road for the towns that are up and around there. They got to bring food and just regular supplies to the people that live around there. So big rigs drive it, and we should be able to do it. I've been saving my bacon fat from breakfast for a way to start a fire. If you guys didn't know this, that's what I do when I cook bacon. I take the fat that renders out of the meat and soak it in paper towels. Preferably use paper towels, so I'm not using good paper towels for this. It doesn't matter if there's water in it, because the fire is so intense, it just steams the water away anyways once you light it. You just need some kind of a wicking material, so paper towels are perfect. You soak it in the bacon fat, saturate it, and just stick it in a little plastic bag, and then it becomes like a perfect little fire starter. In fact, these sticks are just in there to kind of supply a little additional fuel. Most of this flame is fueled by my bacon fat soaked paper towels. There's a side benefit to being able to start a fire almost every time. This smells good too. It smells like somebody's cooking bacon. Allergy medicine. There are probably about 10 sites that I can see just by looking around here. Maybe more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe 12 sites. 3 are occupied. That includes us, Jason, Angela, and then this guy over here. That's like 3/4 empty. Okay. It's hot. The main plan is to go to a couple campgrounds.
Next page.
We'll go along the coast.
This is adding zeros.
Video.
1 plus 0 is 1.
This that
0
don't work.
plus 2
I do
is...
this when I'm using this front camera on my phone, because when you do this, my camera has a feature that automatically takes a photo. So if you see them doing this, that's what they're trying to do. They're building a new registration office right here for next year, which is when they will also have full hookups. No, not full hookups, water, electric hookups. A lot of people here doing the Berry Hill hike, just like yesterday.
It's a cascade also.
Oh, there's a waterfall? Cascade?
Yeah,
That's Spanish.
I'm fancy.
This place, what's this thing called? SS Ethie? Ethie? Yeah, I see it. Look at all the pieces of the ship that's left here.
Don't fall on them, please.
It's very rusty metal. Oh, these are pieces of the steamship Ethie. I don't know anything about the SS Ethie and how it got shipwrecked here, but I mean, this used to be a giant steamship. This shows you how crazy the natural forces are in this part of the world. Giant pieces of metal scattered everywhere. We don't have internet right now, and this little placard up here with the description's kind of worn out.
Lumphead.
Lumphead. All right, let's keep moving. We're in the little village of St. Paul's. There's a little market. I'm not sure how super it is. I'm gonna load up on some stuff. I'm just gonna find whatever opportunities I have to load up on food and supplies for the next couple of weeks, because I don't know when they will come again. I got some more mashed potatoes. I got canned gravy. I got
Canned gravy?
yeah, like ready made. Just open it and just use it. Right? That's easier than having them make the gravy. I got pork and beans, cough medicine, some Fisherman's Friend cough drops I never had before. Maybe it'll work better.
Okay.
What else?
Eggs?
They have beer. I got eggs. I didn't get any beer. You want beer? It's expensive, but we'll get some beer at the next stop.
Okay.
Okay, let's go. I'm not getting any cell service here right now, so we're not even sure if we're going to stay here, but we will go check it out. 0 bar service. Shallow Bay Campground.
Can you try to boost 0 bars?
I can try. You'll probably give me like a couple bars.
Ava, how's the mouth going? Huh? Why?
Say carrier. Oh, 104 tell us LTE. Ooh, that might be good enough. The booster did work. It took me from 0 service, which is like minus 150 dB or lower, which is no signal at all. It brought it up to about 100, 105 dB, which is usable. It would be a bit of a struggle, I think. It may drop out from time to time, but I think if you got a good signal and it was able to lock onto it, then it's usable.
Can you lock it or no?
I think with my Android phone I could, but not with the iPhone. It's a little harder. It's just not worth hassling with right now. Shallow Bay Campground, it's a nice campground, but it's by the water, but you're not able to see the water. So it's not really worth it, I don't think, to hang out here. So we may as well move on. Here's the beach at Shallow Bay, or at least the parking lot to the beach. I'm assuming that's the beach down there by the bathroom, beyond the bathroom.
You want to run out there really quick and look? Or no?
I don't know. Think it's going to be worth it?
We'll wait in the car.
Okay. I'll run out there. Let's hope it's not super far. Small fishing community called Bell Downs Point. Now it's just a campground at the beach. Let's go check it out. Completely deserted. Big long stretch of beach. I bet a couple of weeks ago this would have been happening swimming spot. But now the weather is starting to change. Nobody is here, man. Nobody. Trying this new setup with the microphone. I've got a lapel mic, so my audio should be pretty clean, but you probably can't hear anything Marlene is saying. Marlene, say something.
Hi.
Say a little louder.
Hi, we're in the fog.
Yell.
Weather.
Say really loud.
It is so foggy here.
We left Shallow Bay. Shallow Bay was a cool place to camp, but we're probably about a month too late to camp there. Last month, I bet that beach would have been packed full of people. Just long stretch of beach, protected, sandy. It probably would have been relatively warm like it was in last month. Where were we? I think we were in Prince Edward Island.
Yeah.
It would have been nice. But right now it's foggy and pretty windy. The weather has definitely changed, and we had a couple of days of nice weather yesterday and the day before, but actually really just yesterday.
Yeah, just yesterday.
Just yesterday. It was like in the 70s, like the jackets came off, the bugs came back. It was almost like summer is back. A little bit of Indian summer, I guess. But I think the weather is now here to stay. Yeah, we're just gonna keep trucking. We're officially getting out of the national park now, Gros National Park, and we're heading into the next town and hopefully get a bite to eat and a place, trying to find a good place for me to work for the afternoon, and I guess a place to camp too. We need a place to camp.
Yeah.
We don't know where we're gonna be if it's not gonna be Shallow Bay. So we made it to Port au Choix. There's a National Historic Site here, which we will go, probably not today, I don't think. I think we'll go tomorrow if we spend the night here. This is about halfway up. We still gotta go a bit further north to get to the town where the ferry leaves. But we also want to go farther north, all the way up into Lonso Meadows, that Viking village I've been talking about. And also St. Anthony's, that's another town on the north end of the peninsula. Well, here's the place we were hoping to eat. But
Eat the house?
it's very sad. But I think that's going to be kind of the norm from now on. Things are just going to be closed for the season.
Look at those waves, man.
Yeah. Look at those waves, man.
Surf's up.
Woo.
Nominate you to go outside and get us a site.
We'll figure out where the safe place is to be.
Can I take off my seatbelt?
Okay.
Stay in your seat.
So we ended up at the Lions Club campground on the water. I think it's called Oceanside RV Park here in Port au Choix, Newfoundland. We are probably about 2 hours north of Gros Morne National Park, where we were this morning. We weren't going to stay here because when we got here, it was really blowing hard. So we ate dinner at the restaurant in town. We ran into our friends Jason and Angela, who were a little bit behind us, and they finally caught up as we were finishing dinner. And tried to go to the National Historic Site. It was closed. We'll try again tomorrow. But it was blowing so hard that we didn't really know what options we had for camping. So this was the kind of only thing in town, so we came here. And what we found was the Lions Club building that we could park dry camp just behind it. For $15 Canadian a night, we just dry camp here. And the wind actually is really well sheltered from behind the building. So we're in pretty good shape here. As you can tell, we're not hearing any wind inside. Usually when it's really windy like that, I mean, it was probably good like 20-mile-an-hour winds. The whole thing would just shake back and forth. It's sturdy enough that nothing will happen, but it would just be noisy and uncomfortable. I did some research on the SS Ethie shipwreck that we saw today. What I found out is that in 1919, on a December day, that's when the boat ran aground. And they actually ran aground intentionally after battling rough seas and blinding snow flurries for a good day, day and a half before that. And they went through the entire night with that. And they actually had like lifeboats ripped off its davits from the seas that are coming over. And some of the big, foamy, frothy seas were so high, it was over the top of the spars of the ship. So they thought that during, by daylight, the seas would calm and the winds will abate, and it never happened. So after studying the charts, figuring out where they were, they decided to run the ship aground. And that's where they ran aground where we were earlier today. And there were 72 people on board, including 2 cows. One milk cow died, and the other cow actually survived. They weren't able to get the cow off the boat until the next day. When they ran to the ground, they threw some ropes to some people that were on shore, and they grabbed it, and then they pulled the rope and tied it onto the shore somewhere. And then they started just pulling people back and forth on that rope. And they had a baby on board that they actually put in the mailbag. And then they tied the mailbag to the line, and then they pulled the baby across just like raging, frothy seas. It sounds really crazy. And this is directly from like the ship's log from the officers that were on board the wrecked ship in 1919. So really cool story. And back in those days, these waters in December would have been full of ice, which is crazy. So in a little less than 100 years, all that's left of that boat is what we saw today, which is not much. And in fact, I saw some pictures on Instagram of that same location just a year or two ago, and there were bigger pieces of the boat. So it's getting to the point where pieces would just start getting washed back in the sea. And probably in the next 5 to 10 years, it won't even be there anymore. So it's cool, we got to see that. But we're here in Port of Choix and spending the night. They got Wi-Fi here at the Lions Club, so we're pretty set. Let's hope the weather gets better tomorrow and then we can go do something. It's windy, but at least we're not on bikes.